everybody. So I wanted to jump on here today and go over the CATS Lil Golden Book journal that I just finished. This one will be donated to BARCS, B-A-R-C-S. It's Baltimore Animal Shelter. I have a friend of mine up there, and she does a fundraiser several times a year, an online Facebook fundraiser. So she's always asking for donations, and this year I decided I would send her some journals that I made. So I'm sending her a dog one that I made a while back, and I've got this cat one that I just finished up. Lil Golden Books. I've decided that I'm not a huge fan of dealing with Lil Golden Books. They present their own challenges. I don't know if any of you have worked with Lil Golden Books, but they, again, present their own challenges. Mostly with the spine and the page, you know, the size of the paper and the pages, because of the way that they're made. The spine is, I guess it's considered a flat spine. You know, like most books are attached here, but with Lil Golden Books they're attached here, and this is their spine. It's a flat spine, not a side spine, if that makes any sense. So they present a little challenge with page sizes and the spine and keeping the little golden part visible. Some people cover that up and don't worry about it, but I kind of have a hang up and think that a Lil Golden Book should show, you should be able to see the little golden spine. It's just my own personal nostalgic thought there. So bit of a challenge, but we got it done. This is a 3 signature Lil Golden Book. Typically, Lil Golden Books have 2 main signatures, and so normally I split the book up in the 2 signatures, and then I have the 1 signature that has mostly blank paper for more journaling space, mostly. None of the book pages are in here. The story is intact. You can read the story along with it. I tend to do that with my Lil Golden Books. So let's get into it. I covered the spine in some kitty cat fabric. Sewed in the signatures with some I can't get my words right. Some yellow ribbon, thin ribbon. I've frayed the edges a little bit of this material and kept it to where you can see the gold edge. I think over time this will fray more, obviously. But I wanted to be able to see the gold edge. The dangle is a real simple little dangle. This was a little charm that was sent to me, Happy Mail, from my friend Mary Ellen at Red Parrot. She sent me a handful of these, and the little fishy stood out that he needed to be on the cat book. I don't know, but so I wasn't gonna do a dangle, but I decided to add that. It's wired on, and I added a little bit of fringe to mainly cover up my messy wire work. So yeah, let's get to it. I used 2 different, not going to say 2 different, I used 2 golden books like this, mainly so because I had them, but the extra pages from the other book allowed me to do some more ephemera and all that, some cat themed ephemera from images from the book. It also allowed me on the cover, I don't know if you can see this or not, but this little kitty and this butterfly are raised. I chopped up the other cover, so they're pretty, I don't know if you can see that, but they're raised and they're pretty thick because they're a cover. I was going to do both of the cats, but when I was cutting it out, I cut his ear weird, so I didn't want to fight with it, so I just decided to add the butterfly and this little cat raised. So that's what we did with the cover. I didn't do a tie or a closure on this one, mainly because he lays pretty flat by himself. So let's jump into it. Oh, and this little butterfly just wanted to fly away, so let me glue him real quick. I wonder why you did that. jumping into it. I'm not going to read this story, but you'll be able to see that the pages are intact, the story's intact and all that. So I've added some blue lined paper. It's just regular lined paper throughout. This is some scrapbook paper that I've sewn together, mainly because it's white on the back side and I was trying to avoid the white. Little tuck spot pocket made from some painted paper scraps that I had. I created a handful of these through a challenge that I did in March, Mass Make March, that was hosted by Cindy at Studio Lou. I chopped up one of these paintings and made some pockets and tucks, so there's a couple of them that kind of the colors went. So this was an image from excuse me, from the book. Again, I had 2 books, so the book's intact here, but I've got images that I cut out and used throughout for journal cards. Tucked in here, I've got some of this eyelash fuzzy, reminded me of a fuzzy kitten trim throughout. Blue paper, yellow cardstock paper. This is an image, a magazine cutout. I got some in some Happy Mail. I want to say it's like from a Friskies advertisement or something like that, but I backed it, made a pocket out of it. This was a little journal card that I had. I stamped Meow on it, tucked him in there on some blue cardstock. Again, more of the book. Little envelope flip out with just a cat sticker. And this one is a little journal card, a flip open journal card with a cat image. This is from a greeting card. I cut it in half. It's had happy birthday or something like that on it and made a pocket out of it. Using some lined paper and some cardstock, made a little notepad to tuck in here. Stamped Meow on it. I had a handful of the kitty cat playing cards. Made some little pockets for those. This is just a regular blank greeting card. I glued it down here for some writing space. This guy is from a Christmas card. Excuse me. I cut him out, backed him, and I fussy cut him, and so he is now a cat-sized journal card, tucked in here with a altered paper clip. It's altered per se. It just has a ribbon tied on it. This is another blank greeting card glued in here for journaling space. And so we're done with the first signature with the story pages. These pages in the second signature again are just going to be blank pages and journaling pages, more of the eyelash trim. This is page from the book with the kitty cats on it. Backed it for a journal card that tucks on the edge of this with quote unquote the altered paper clip. Not so altered, but it is. This is the back side of a calendar page. You'll see him later on. It's a big cat calendar page. Probably should have done something different here, but I was fine with it. The back of this scrapbook paper has grid on it, so I left it just as a journaling space. Another cat image backed for a journaling card. Tucked in here in this little pocket that I stamped Meow on. And one of our playing cards. Some of the playing cards have cats on both sides. Some of them just have cats on one side. Another little journaling card of a cat image. We backed it, sewed around it, and we've tucked it on here with our not so altered paper clip. This is another image from the book. sewed some ribbon on and tucked it in there for a long journal card or bookmark. Stamped meow on it. Again, I'm in the middle signature, and there's mostly just blank pages for writing, designing, all that. Here's the other side of that cat calendar page. So that's the middle signature. We're back to the third signature that has the story back with it. Little cat sticker. Lots of journaling space, doodling space in this. I tend to make my journals with extra space in them. Excuse me. This is from the other book, the front page of the other book. Made a bookmark out of it. This is a little sheet of stickers, cat paws and birds and fish tucked in there for whoever gets this journal can do their own thing with little stickers. A little kitty cutout, fussy cut magazine image on the back of this flip out. This is a piece of embossed cardstock, just tucked it in there. More journaling space, creating space. This is a silly little kitty magazine cutout, journal card, tucked into one of those painted flower pockets that I made. Another kitty playing card with the stamped meow pocket. Another greeting card, just glued it down for writing space. I don't know how I ended up, I think there was like 3 or 4 blank cat greeting cards. I just ended up with them. So this is another big journaling card, an image from the other book. Lots of space to journal on that with our other not so altered paper clip here tucked in there. And then there you have it. That's the last of it. I did the material on the inside spine as well. And so there you have our little CATS Golden Book. And yeah, that's that. Again, I'm not a huge fan of doing little golden books. I've done a couple of them. I'll probably do some more of them. And it may just be that I'm kind of new to working with journals, and so I haven't quite mastered the challenge of them yet. One of the things I don't really like about them is they're very flexible. With the way the spine is, if you create your own spine, you still have this folded part. It's like an extra folded part, and so it makes your spine a little squishy and wobbly, flexible, which is okay, I suppose. But again, I think my issues with Little Golden Books are just my issues, and I'll get over them eventually. But anyways, thanks for joining as we flipped through this little CATS Golden Book. This one's headed to Baltimore. Hopefully raise some money for the animal shelter up there. And yeah, thanks for joining me, and we will see you soon.